So students, our first topic is what is economic planning? Economic planning refers to a system under which a central authority sets a set of targets and specifies a set of programs and policies to achieve those targets within the specific period of time. Student, here economic planning means that the central authority means the government sets a targets. Government is setting up the targets first and programs and policies to achieve the target for a 5-year period. In India, it was Economic Planning Commission was set up in 1950. The second point is Economic Planning Commission has now been abolished. After the British rule, the planning which is done by the government is known as the Planning Commission, which was set up in 1955. Now it has been abolished, and in February 2015, it has been replaced by Niti Aayog. What is the role of Niti Aayog? Niti Aayog is to make such policies that accelerate the pace of GDP growth, which the job of the Niti Aayog is to make such policies that the GDP growth of the country increases. Students, now our second topic is need for planning in India. What was the need of setting up the Planning Commission in India? Why? Because India inherited with the British a backward and stagnant economy. We have discussed in chapter number 1. It is a backward as the level of output and productivity were low, and it was stagnant as the GDP growth was extremely low, because India was facing these problems. I have underlined these words, and these are the key words that question can be asked over here is why there is a need of setting up the Planning Commission in India. Because after the British rule, our economy became stagnant, productivity was low and backward, which was extremely low, GDP growth was low. That's why we set up the economic planning. That is the first point. Second point is Indian economy need a big push of investment. After the British rule, after the British left us, our Indian economy needs a big investment supported by the government. Hence the recourse of economic planning, because our government need a big investment and all the steps, because that time our businessmen like Tata, Birla, that time were having the low capital, and the Indian economy was very poor and backward. So they were not able to take the big risk because the demand of the people was also low. So it's the government who took the first step to come up big push of investment. It's the government who has invested a big amount of money in the production in the form of capital goods. Clear? So that is the need for planning in India. Third topic is directive planning and comprehensive planning. This is the third topic. Directive planning refers to a system in which planning is introduced just to direct the force of supply and demand. Force of supply and demand. This is not the new word for you students. We have discussed in class 11th also. Force and supply demand means the privatization. Therefore, it is a planning which is done just to achieve the state of equilibrium, means the demand and supply of the commodity of the economy remains the same. State of equilibrium means the demand and supply are equal, so that the system does not go wayward from the state of equilibrium. Clear? That means the planning is done in such a way that the supply and demand does not go wayward. It only achieves the state of equilibrium, and means the demand and supply should be equal. There is no direct participation of state in the process of growth. State here means the government. The government in this, when the directive planning is done by the country, there is no role of the state, means the government, for the growth process. It is more like directing the private sector. This is the important private sector. It is more like private sector. So whatever directive planning is pursued in capitalist economies. A capitalist economy means which is owned and governed by the private sector, and it depends upon the market. Market means the supply and the demand. So these are all the features of directive planning. These are the features of directive planning. That means It directs the forces in supply and demand to achieve the state of equilibrium. Second point is no direct participation of the state, directing a private sector. It's pursued the capitalist economy. These are all the features of the directive planning. Now come on to the next topic, comprehensive planning. Refers to a system in which government herself participate in the process of growth and development. That means government taking the every step, government taking all the decision which is needed for the growth and development. Comprehensive planning is pursued in socialist economy as well as in mixed economy. You know that there are three types of economy: capitalist economy, socialist economy, and mixed economy. India, we are having the mixed economy, where there is a role of privatization also and government also. So in comprehensive planning, all the decisions are taken by the government, and it forms a capitalist economy and mixed economy. Next point is, in case of mixed economy like India, both private and public sector coexist as an agent of growth. Means both the privatization and both the public sector both come up and help in the agent of growth. Means help in the development. Like in today's time, like in COVID-19 time, in fighting the COVID-19, the government and the private sector both are playing their important role. Okay, class, so this complete yours for three topics: what is economic planning, needs of economic for planning in India, directive planning, and comprehensive planning. Hope you will understand these topics and write down the notes. Thank you.